I was 17 when this happened, and it still makes my stomach twist whenever I think about frozen lakes. Every winter, the lake behind my neighborhood would freeze over just thick enough for skating. Everyone knew the rules. Stay near the shore, avoid the center, and never go out at night because the light reflects weirdly and makes it hard to see cracks. But rules don't mean much when you're a teenager trying to impress your friends. We decided to go skating after dark, using our phone flashlights and a cheap lantern one of the guys brought. The lake looked like a black sheet with a glowing circle around us. At first, it was fun, the kind of stupid adrenaline that feels harmless in the moment. Then the lantern flickered, dimmed, and suddenly the ice didn't look smooth anymore. It looked uneven, like shadows were shifting beneath it. I was skating ahead of the group when I heard something, not cracking, not water, but tapping. Soft rhythmic tapping from beneath my skates. I froze. My breath fogged the air, and the tapping came again. Closer, slower, and then a hand pressed against the ice from underneath. A pale hand. I swear to God, I saw fingers dragging across the underside of the ice, following the lantern's dying light. I screamed and fell backward, scrambling on the ice. My friends rushed over, thinking I'd hit a weak spot. But the hand, they saw it too. A face pushed up against the ice. A girl's face. She moved under us like something drifting with purpose, and the ice began to spiderweb. We bolted toward the shore, slipping and falling like idiots, but we didn't stop until we hit snow. We looked back, panting, shaking, and the lake was still again. Perfectly still. The next morning, police were there. They said an 8-year-old girl had fallen through the ice earlier that day. Her body had been recovered at noon. They told us maybe what we saw was just stress, reflections, imagination. But I know what we saw. She wasn't drifting. She was following. And she was tapping like she wanted someone to tap back. There's a lake near my uncle's cabin that locals warn people about in the winter. They say the ice there doesn't freeze right. They say the wind sounds strange when it moves across the surface. But nobody ever told me the real reason people avoid it. I found that out myself. A few years ago, my cousin and I went up to stay with my uncle for winter break. We were bored, restless, and honestly just dumb teenagers looking for something to do that wasn't sitting inside, playing cards, or listening to my uncle complain about the generator. So when we noticed the lake was frozen, we decided to try ice skating on it. My uncle yelled at us from the porch when we grabbed our skates. "Don't go past the tree line." That was all he said. No explanation. We listened. At first, the lake looked normal enough. Smooth, quiet, empty. The sky was that dull winter gray, the kind that makes everything feel like you're inside a snow globe someone forgot to shake. We skated close to shore, laughing, racing each other, just enjoying the cold air. But my cousin, he always pushed things too far. "Let's go farther out," he said. Stupid. But I followed him anyway. The first sign something was wrong was the silence. Real silence. The kind that feels like it's pressing against your ears. No wind. No creaking. No distant generator from the cabin. Just nothing. Then the ice moaned. Not cracked. Not shifted. Moaned. A deep, low sound that vibrated through the ground and up my legs. We both froze. Then we heard it again. Only this time, it wasn't coming from the ice. It was coming from underneath it. A wailing, muffled scream that rose and fell like someone was trapped in the water below us. It was human. It was absolutely human. My cousin grabbed my arm so hard his nails dug through my jacket. We both backed away slowly, too scared to run, terrified of breaking through. The screaming followed us across the ice, moving under our feet. Like whatever was down there was trying to stay right beneath us. Something hit the underside of the ice. Hard. A fist. Another hit. Another. The surface shook like someone was pounding desperately to get out. My cousin didn't wait anymore. He ran. And I ran with him. The screams grew louder, shrill, drowning, choking, until we reached the snow and collapsed in a heap. But the worst part? When we looked back at the lake, the center of the ice was bulging upward, like something was pressing against it from below. Then it slowly sank back down. By the time my uncle reached us, the lake was silent and still again. We tried to explain what happened, both talking over each other, panicking. My uncle didn't look surprised. Not even a little. He just said, "That lake took 2 boys in '89. Water never gave them back." Then he locked the door, closed the curtains, and made sure none of us went outside again after dark. There's this trail near my hometown that people only use in the spring and summer, and for good reason. In winter, the whole path turns into a sheet of ice. The trees get coated in frost so thick they look like they're made of glass. And the air, it changes. It goes still. Too still. My older brother Mark knew all of this. Everyone knew. The trail had a reputation. Not haunted exactly, but wrong. Still, he loved hiking more than anything, and one year he convinced me to go with him on a winter trek. The morning we left, the cold was sharp enough to hurt. Not just sting your cheeks, hurt. The kind of cold that feels heavy in your chest when you breathe. But Mark was excited, and I didn't want to look scared, so I followed him. At first, the trail was peaceful. Our boots crunched through the crusted snow and sink. Our breaths puffed out like smoke. The sun even glowed soft through the trees. But then the temperature dropped. fast, like stepping from a warm room into a freezer. Mark noticed it too. He said, "Feels like something just walked over our graves." We kept walking, but the deeper we went, the more the silence grew. No birds, no branches cracking, not even the faint hum of wind. It was like the world muted itself. Then we saw them, footprints. Bare footprints. Human, leading deeper down the trail. And the weirdest part? They weren't covered by snow. Almost like someone had just walked there seconds before. Mark called out. No answer. But I swear the air shifted, like something moved past us without touching the ground. We followed the prints. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe fear. Maybe the feeling that turning around wasn't an option anymore. Eventually, the footprints just stopped. Right in the middle of the trail. No turn. No jump. No break in the pattern. Just stopped. Like the person vanished into thin air. Mark knelt down to look closer. And that's when the forest exhaled. I'm not kidding. It was a long, low breath. Cold enough that the trees frosted thicker. The sound came from everywhere at once. Then the screaming started. Not human screaming, animalistic. It sounded like someone being dragged across ice. Clawing, kicking, begging. And it was coming from under the trail. Mark grabbed my arm and hauled me back the way we came. The trail behind us began to crack, small lines racing across the ice in zigzags. Something was following beneath it. I could see a shape moving under the frozen surface, pacing with our footsteps. Fast. Too fast. When we reached the halfway point, the thing under the ice slammed against it. The whole trail shook like a drum. A white face flashed below the surface, eyes wide, mouth open too far, fingers scraping upward. Mark didn't look. He just ran. We didn't stop until we burst out of the trail and onto the main road. Once we were off the ice, the sound cut off immediately. No scream. No cracking. Just the wind returning like nothing happened. We tried to tell people what we saw. They shrugged it off. Old pipes under the ground. Frozen animals. Our imaginations. But Mark won't hike that trail anymore. And ever since that day, whenever the temperature drops sharp and sudden, he gets this distant look in his eyes. Like he's hearing something I can't. Or something he's trying not to remember.